However, last year, he pitched pretty well against them.
And hopefully that'll carry over into this year as Denard Span leads it off. First pitch of the ball game is up high. Nice night for baseball here. 65 degrees our game time temperature. Span, the speedy center fielder, want to keep him off the bases. Hitting .298 to start the year. Not a whole lot of power. Has one home run and 13 driven in. The 1-1 is slapped foul back out of play. 1-2 on Denard Span. Got his opportunity to play last year when Michael Kadire went on the disabled list, and Ron Gardenhire took a long look at him, and all of a sudden they realized this kid can play a little bit. Had himself a pretty good year last year. The 1-2 pitch. Broke his bat. Slow roller to second. Polanco has to hurry. He is safe at first base. It was bang bang. I don't know if Polanco would have barehanded that ball if he had a better chance, but the speed of Span shows up.
And Span has the ability in running from the left side. He's getting down the line rather quick. Boy, what a close play. Could have gone either way. Looked like Polanco's feet may have gotten tangled up just a little bit before he got to the ball, and that may have been the difference in Span being safe and out.
Leadoff man is on for the Twins. Span will run, so they have to be careful now with him. Alexi Casilla is up there, and he shows bunt, pops it up. This will help. Jackson lets it fall. They're going to throw to first wildly. They get the out there. The throw to second. Tag play is in time. That's not exactly the way you want to do it, but Jackson found a way to get it done.
Heads up play by Jackson. Bad bunt by Casilla. And Casilla wasn't necessarily running down the line. And if you're the runner on first base, you have to hold up. But take a look. This took very little time for Jackson to decide what he was going to do. He lets it drop. And now he has to get the out at first base first. And then it has to be a tag play at second base. But a heads up play by Jackson looked a little unconventional, but it works as a double play.
Boy, you talk about thinking on your feet.
Heads up play. Heads up play by Jackson.
Your instinct is to go catch the ball.
Absolutely.
Nicely done.
But he noticed that Casilla was upset because it was a bad bunt. Therefore, Casilla wasn't necessarily sprinting down the line. And Casilla, he continues to stay in the doghouse of Ron Gardenhire. He's done some things in the last week or so that has their manager scratching his head.
Well, you don't want to be in Gardy's doghouse, but that appears to be where he is headed. Mauer, meanwhile, off to a good start.
You don't see that play very often. Just a heads-up play by Jackson.
He had a 4-hit game on Saturday, off to a 7-for-10 start. And he cuts and misses, struck him out, and Jackson, just like that, ends the inning. Nothing doing for the Twins. Here come the Tigers. No score as we head to the bottom of the first. Tigers starting lineup tonight features Curtis Granderson in center. Placido Polanco at second base. Maglio is in right. Cabrera cleaning up again tonight. Guillen's in left. Laird will catch, and your bottom three features Inge, Rayburn, and then Adam Everett. The Bernstein advantage brings you the scouting report on Francisco Liriano. Get the Bernstein advantage. We go to bat for you.
Well, let's hope that first one continues. No run support for Liriano. In his 5 starts this year, his teammates have only gotten him 7 runs. And, of course, we know the Tigers with a right-hand dominant lineup, with the exception of Granderson, they love to hit off left-handers. And Polanco with very good numbers in his career against Liriano.
There's the ball missing outside. 1-1 on Curtis Granderson. 6 for 11 in that series against the Indians.
Yeah, good to see Curtis perk up a little bit, getting that batting average up to go along with those power numbers.
8 homers, 18 RBIs, and Granderson has now hit safely in his last 4 games. Liriano is only 25 years old, and boy, there was a time a couple of years ago when this guy was nails, and he has just picked up his first strikeout, a sweeping breaking ball to get Granderson.
Let's take a look at the defense behind Liriano in the ball game tonight. You've got Young, Span, Kadire in the outfield. You've got the Tiger killer, at least when he was with the White Sox, Joe Crede, anchored at third base. Punto, tremendous range at shortstop. Casilla, Morneau round out the right side of the infield. Mauer is back behind the plate today. And we told you Liriano's on the mound.
Seemed like every time Crede was here with the White Sox, he was hitting home runs in this ballpark.
That was a great sign by the Minnesota Twins. He fits the profile of the type of player that they have had in their organization for years. Real good baseball player.
They are just banking on the fact that he will stay healthy. That is sliced to the gap in right center field, and it will be caught by Michael Kadire. 2 gone. Liriano's had a tough sledding so far this year.
He really has, with all the talent that he does possess. He starts 0-4 with an earned run average north of 6. He does have the 20 strikeouts in the 28 1/3 innings pitched. He's given up 3 home runs. His velocity is not to where it was a few years ago when we first laid eyes on him. He was 95, 96 with an outstanding changeup and that Randy Johnson slider to the right-handed hitters right at that back foot. I don't think he's regained his strength yet from that Tommy John surgery.
Taps slowly to third where Crede has it, and Liriano has himself a 1-2-3 inning. Tigers go in order. We'll go to the second. No score from Comerica. Test of time since 1849. Your Motor City Dodge dealers. Comcast, keep in touch with Mom this Mother's Day with Comcast high-speed internet. And by Arby's Bacon Cheddar Roast Burger Sandwich. Try it today. It'll have you saying, I'm thinking Arby's. As we celebrate the 80s tonight here at the ballpark. The Twins and Tigers meet for the first time this year, and Justin Morneau leads it off for Minnesota. It'll be Morneau, Kubel, and Crede. in Ron Gardenhire's lineup. Jackson's 1-0 is fouled back. 1 ball, 1 strike on Morneau, batting .327, off to a nice start with 6 homers, and he's knocked in 21 already.
I'm surprised they were pitching to him as much as they were to allow him to hit 6 home runs with 21 RBIs without Mauer in the lineup the majority of the month of April.
Hit toward left field, long run for Guillen. He's not going to get there, but it's a foul ball. Carlos had him played around toward right a little bit, and Mauer, or Morneau, I should say, went the other way.
Tremendous player, tremendous talent at first base. Every single year, Morneau is in the conversation as far as the MVP award is concerned in the American League. That's how good he is.
Well, only Dustin Pedroia finished ahead of him in the voting last year in the MVP.
And really, they say last year was a flip of the coin.
Here's the 1-2. One thing about Mauer is when you look at his approach at the plate, he is one of those guys that is really quiet at the plate. Not a whole lot of movement going on. Here's the 2-2 offering. Slice toward left, foul. Well, there's no question that Mauer and Morneau are a big part of their offense, and now that Mauer is back, they are hoping to get the offense going a little bit. There's Joe Mauer, who had offseason surgery on his kidney and then developed a back problem.
He will do his part. We know that much.
Shattered his bat into center field. Granderson is there, 1 gone.
Take a look at the Tigers defense presented by your Chrysler and Jeep Superstores. Guillen, Granderson, Ordonez in the outfield. Inge, Everett, Polanco, Cabrera. There in the infield. You know Jackson is on the mound, and Gerald Laird, after an afternoon off yesterday in which James Sardina did a wonderful job, is back behind the plate tonight against the Minnesota Twins.
James Sardina was huge yesterday.
Yes, he was.
Strike 1 on Kubel.
Not only handling Verlander, but also that big double late in the game, which allowed the Tigers to score a couple of runs and take over the ball game.
Tipped off the mask of Laird.
Ron Gardenhire has 3 left-handed hitters back to back to back, 3, 4, and 5, and that may play into the hands of Jim Leland a little bit late in this game. If they get themselves in a situation, he's got 3 lefties in his bullpen, and he may want to maneuver them that way. Of course, Gardenhire always has the option to pinch hit.
Kubel at .294. 4 home runs and 16 driven in. Our gun just registered 100 miles an hour. I don't know that that's accurate.
Kubel already hit for a cycle this year.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one at 97 from Jackson.
Jackson throws a nice, easy 95 to 97. We were talking about Verlander yesterday and how he was able to get up to 99 and 100 miles an hour. It's easy gas, very little effort.
And the ball seems to get on you real quick, like at home plate.
Yeah, when they're throwing 97, you don't have a whole lot of time to decide what you're going to do. That's for sure.
It always amazes me the guys that can take upper 90s and just turn it, or at least put it in play. That guy can throw it into triple digits.
Oh, he was spectacular yesterday.
That ball's hit well to left field. Guillen is on the run. Will he get there? Nope. It's over his head. Kubel is on his way to second base. Granderson will back up Guillen. It's a 1-out double.
That's exactly what you were talking about. 2-2 count. Fastball at 95 miles an hour. Kubel, not a big swing. Usually takes a big swing, but this is just a real short, quick, compact swing. And when a guy's throwing 95, you can hit the ball off the warning track in left field. Carlos may have got caught playing him a little bit too shallow. And Kubel with a little bit of power in that direction.
So the first scoring opportunity now for Minnesota. And here is the former White Sox third baseman Joe Creedy.
And Jackson will need his changeup a little bit more often today. By and large, his first 5 starts of the year, he has not needed the changeup that much. He's overpowered the 5 teams he's gone up against with fastballs and sliders. But with some of these left-handers, the Twins will run at you. You need that changeup today.
There's a good pitch right there. Fastball on the outside black. 1-1. Well, Edwin was pitching that outstanding game against the Yankees. In his last start, he won 6 innings, the game in which the Yankees scored 10 in the 7th after he was taken out of the game. Little looper into center field. Here comes Granders. Creedy is out. Runner holds. 2 gone. Now Michael Kadire. Kadire taking a cue from Creedy and wearing his socks up. Batting .253.
He's starting to heat up a little bit. Starting to perform a little bit better. He basically had a year off last year. An assortment of different injuries for Kadire.
You talk about some tough luck. He had that finger injury. He went down to rehab it, and while he was rehabbing it, he broke his foot.
Look at that protective device that he has on his foot. I don't think I've ever seen a protector as big as the one that he has on.
The 1-0 pitch.
Like he's got a boot on.
That in some way has to hinder your ability to run.
I don't think I've ever seen one that big.
It does look like a boot. It's flashy though. It's got his number 5 on it.
Oh, it's all about the style.
It is, man. They dress up everything these days. There it is.
You got to have some style points. And whoever makes it, you know, their name has to be on there too, so we can see it.
3-0 on Kadire. Down the middle it comes. Edwin Jackson with a 2.25 ERA coming in. But like Liriano, has not been helped by a whole lot of offense.
Only 7 runs scored so far for Jackson this year in his 5 starts.
And for Liriano.
Both of them. 7 runs.
There's another strike.
I don't know what Kadire was looking for there. A 3-1 fastball right down Broadway with a runner on second base. Opponent's batting average against Jackson, 208, which is in the top 5 in the American League.
Bouncing ball back up the middle. Going to be a tough play. It's through. It's a base hit. This will get a run in. Kubel will come around to score, and Kadire gets it done with 2 outs. It's an RBI hit.
Maybe that's what he was looking for. He was looking for the 3-2 fastball to bounce right back up the middle.
It's his 11th RBI of the year.
That's something Minnesota has not done a lot of this year. They haven't scored first in a lot of their games, which is right there pretty much doing what everybody else is doing in the Central, hovering right around 500.
It's going to bring up Delman Young, batting in the 8th slot for Minnesota.
These 2 guys were teammates a couple of years ago in Tampa before Delman got traded to Minnesota last year. And of course, Jackson knows Delman Young because he's had a chance to watch it play. Young loves to swing at the first pitch, and that's why Jackson threw him the breaking ball, but it wasn't close enough to entice Young into swinging.
One ball, 1 strike. Young has knocked in 12. Former number 1 pick of the Rays, number 1 overall to be exact. That was in the 2003 draft. Delman had actually committed to play at the University of Arizona. But when you go number 1 overall, it's hard to turn that down. It's fouled straight back, 1-2.
Remember when we were in Tampa in 2003 and the Tampa, they were the Devil Rays at the time. Of course, they're now just the Tampa Rays. They brought him in to take batting practice.
I remember that.
Remember how impressive his batting practice was as a high school senior?
Brother Dimitri was there. Yeah, it was really impressive. apparently he showed enough to having been selected #1 overall. It's fouled away again.
They may want to pay a little bit more attention to Kadaya over at first base. Minnesota not running nearly as much this year as they have in years past, and I think that's what Laird is going to do right now. He's going to make sure that Jackson does not forget about Kadaya. Kadaya was trying to time Jackson on that last delivery, and he was anticipating that he was going to throw it a little sooner, and had he done so, he would have stolen that base. We'll see if Jackson throws over at least one time or changes up exactly his times in delivery.
Kadire 3 swipes this year, 3 out of 4. Fouled away again.
He's got his good fastball today. He's been anywhere from 94 to 97.
Rick Knapp has to really be pleased with the way his rotation has performed this year. For the most part, I think better than a lot of folks expected.
A lot of the Minnesota personnel were very happy to see Rick Knapp today. Of course, a lot of their pitchers he had in the minor leagues when he was with the Twins. Spent 12 years there as a minor league pitching coordinator. They are very happy for him.
Swing and a miss. Down he goes. Jackson with his second strikeout. Twins get a run, though. They leave a man. We'll go to the bottom of the second. Minnesota on 80s night here at the ballpark, and some of the sights and sounds that you probably remember from the 80s. Hulkamania. Who is that?
Tom Selleck, isn't it?
Oh, is that Tom Selleck? Good job. The shirt gave it away. Got a mighty big cranium. Ooh, that guy's close. Didn't we see? We saw Tom in L.A. a couple of years ago.
We sure did.
He came up to the booth.
He did. Huge Tigers fan.
Well, Miguel Cabrera leads it off here in the second. It'll be Cabrera, Guillen, and Laird. You got any favorite 80s music of yours? Favorite bands in the 80s?
And no, not really.
No?
I mean, there was several of them, though, that I used to listen to.
I got to go with Asia.
Asia? That was your favorite?
Yeah. Little 38 Special. They were pretty good, too. Edwin Jackson chatting it up now with Rick Knapp. He gave up a run in the second inning. Tigers will try and get it back here in the bottom of the second. Cabrera, Guillen, and Laird in inning number 2.
It's a pretty good pitch right here by Liriano, and it's one that he's had a difficult time of throwing, getting that four-seam fastball inside to the right-handed hitters. And actually, that one tailed back over the heart of the plate. Miguel just a little tardy on it. But that's the one pitch they say that's been missing from his arsenal. And because he's pitching sideways with his upper body. And we talked about that a little bit with Verlander yesterday. When you don't drive that front shoulder towards your target, it's kind of hard to get that arm up in that good position.
Well, it wasn't too long ago before the Tommy John surgery back in '06 that Liriano kind of burst onto the scene. His numbers were outstanding, 12-2 with a 2.16 ERA.
Yeah, it was Santana one night and then Liriano the next night.
That's right.
They had Radke in between.
The 2-2. Ooh. Wow. That was a mighty good pitch.
The slide piece?
Looked like it.
Yep. Sure was.
A little inside, perhaps, says Brian Gorman. 3-2 pitch. Liriano is listed at 6'2", 225. He is a native of San Cristobal in the Dominican Republic. Now the 3-2 fouled off again. Now the league average with a full count is 240. Cabrera is 4 for 9. Outside, he lost him.
Hey fans, Saturday on Fox goes under the lights in Darlington, South Carolina, where Kyle Busch is the defending champion at one of the circuit's most legendary racetracks. Coverage of Sprint Cup Series racing from Darlington begins at Saturday night at 7 in high definition on your local Fox station. Darlington Raceway.
That, by the way, was a 9-pitch at bat for Cabrera.
That's good. You want to get into the Twins bullpen these days. There was a time where you didn't really want to venture into their bullpen. They were that good. But nowadays, they've scuffled in their bullpen lately. Carlos Guillen was out taking batting practice today, along with Granderson. Rayburn was out as well. And I was kind of thinking to myself, I know he's not getting a lot of hits, but he's hitting the ball awfully hard. I mean, what else can you do?
Sooner or later, you would figure that some of those would drop in. He's not making bad outs. He's stroking the ball just like that. The other way, it's a base hit. And Carlos aboard. The Tigers have their first hit of the game. 2 on, nobody out.
And that's exactly some of the things that Carlos was working on, but that's really what he's been doing. He's been hitting the ball the other way, whether he's batting left-handed. He's been hitting lots of line drives to the left fielder in the opposite way when he's hitting right-handed. That was a nice piece of hitting there. Changeup at about 84 miles an hour that his body got in front of, but his hand stayed back. Lloyd McClendon's work never ends.
Well, here's Gerald Laird, and Ron Gardenhire in the Minnesota dugout just signaled, be careful with the bunt here.
Well, they got Inge in the on-deck circle, and as hot as Inge has been, you know Leland wants to get him up in an RBI situation.
Laird is one of those guys, though, despite the position he plays, that can bunt for a base hit.
He's got decent speed. Gene Lamont going through a series of signs.
Tigers this year have 10 sacrifices. They've done a lot more of that at the bottom of the line. Of course, they had 30 all of last year. Laird swinging away. Now the count is 0-2, so Creedy will back up at third base. Gerald back in there today after a day off yesterday. 1 for 7 in that series against the Indians, in which the Tigers took 2 out of 3 from the Tribe. Dane Sardina filled in capably, more than capably, yesterday. Good block there by Mauer.
Mauer is probably, or at least I can't think of another big league catcher that stands 6 feet 5 inches.
I don't either.
And it's very difficult sometimes for him to get down in a very low crouch because he is 6 feet 5. But he did a very nice job of getting down there on that breaking ball to block it and smother it and to keep it in front of him. They say he even grew a couple of inches after they drafted him.
Swing and a miss, and down goes Laird on the breaking ball. One gone. Second strikeout for Liriano.
I wonder how big is too big for that position.
Well, it's a good question because I would imagine the thing you run into is you've got to give the home plate umpire a good view of the pitch, and if you're too tall and you can't get low enough, that's kind of a handicap.
That's a great point. And then usually when you stand 6'5", you're not all that athletic as a baseball player, but you know the history of Joe Mauer. He was a tremendous high school quarterback, so he's got some athleticism.
So does the guy in the batter's box who is swinging a hot bat right now, Brandon Inge at 316.
Opposing pitchers have tried everything with Inge as well. They've tried to bust him in, then go soft away with the breaking balls and the changeups. They've tried to pound him in consistently with fastballs, and he's met every challenge. There's no one way to get him out right now. And the reason for that is the tremendous balance that he has right now when he stands in the batter's box. Very seldom does he get fooled. Brandon also chokes up just a hair with 2 strikes to give him a better handle with the bat.
Oh, there's that same pitch that we thought struck out Cabrera, but it missed.
I don't know if he's throwing that slider that high in the strike zone inside by design, or if he's just not getting it down where he wants to. My guess is he's hanging a few of them. Most guys don't want to throw their slider around the belt buckle.
Swing and a miss.
That's where you want it.
So back-to-back strikeouts, 3 in the game now for Liriano, and the runner's going nowhere to this point.
Take a look on Exmo. That's a real good slider there. And if you're the Tigers, you're also getting an idea of what Liriano will do to you if you're in the batter's box and there's a runner on second base. He struck Laird out with a breaking ball. He got Brandon with that same slider.
Here's Ryan Rayburn. Two starts ago, Liriano gave up 7 runs in 4 innings at Boston, but he showed signs of perhaps turning things around this season with his last start against Tampa. Allowed just 2 runs, pitching into the 7th. That missed outside, off speed, and the count goes 2-0 now on Ryan Rayburn. And Jim Leyland true to his word with Rayburn getting starts against left-handed pitching.
You heard anything on Marcus Thames lately?
You know what? I saw him in the locker room. I was going to ask him today, but I just flat out forgot.
I did talk to him briefly yesterday, and he said he was going to start doing some exercises. I don't know exactly what that meant, but apparently he's well enough now to start doing some things to get himself back on track to getting on the field.
I know when the injury was first announced, Jim Leyland thought it was going to be a while. 3-0 is outside, ball 4. That's going to load him up. Second walk in the inning for Liriano.
That last walk was pretty much by design. A very good eye by Rayburn, but it appeared that Liriano wanted nothing to do with Rayburn. With Everett coming up, but Everett's had a nice start,
including a grand slam already. How about another one? That slam against the Indians, he finished up with 5 RBIs in that series against the Tribe. Was 4 for 9. Chance here to give his team the lead with a base hit. Down the middle it comes, strike 1, right at the knees of Adam Everett. Well, if anything, Liriano is pumping up his pitch count here in the second. Couple of walks. He has struck out 2 batters. The 0-1. Everett has hit safely in 9 of his last 14. wanted it up to see if Everett would chase it. Wouldn't do it though. 1-2. The Tigers have put only one ball in play in this inning, and that was the single by Carlos Guillen. They've got him loaded here. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Struck him out with that nasty slider. He strikes out the side. 4 in the game now for Liriano, and the Tigers leave him loaded. Tire, trust us, will make you happy you came in. That's a promise. AT&T, your world delivered. And by Aflac, we've got you under our wing. 80s night here at the ballpark. How about the DeLorean? And a stormtrooper in attendance here. I always wanted a DeLorean. They don't make those anymore, do they?
I'm not sure. They don't make them anymore?
It'd be sweet driving down Woodward in one of those, wouldn't it be?
Yes, indeed.
Here's Nick Punto to lead it off. 1-0 Twins lead. Jackson back to the hill. Punto, Span, and Casilla. Edwin gave up an RBI hit to Michael Kadire in the second. That's the difference so far. Jim Leyland was describing the Minnesota Twins and their organization and how sometimes they just go after baseball players as opposed to great athletes to get into their system. And the first guy's name that came up as being a baseball player was Nick Punto. And not really a great athlete, but a terrific defender.
Oh, he's got great range and tremendous speed.
Batting in the 9-hole here for Minnesota.
As a matter of fact, he's got as much range as any shortstop in the American League. He can cover some ground.
He's awfully good.
But it's good to have a lot of baseball players, but you need a few athletes on your team if you're going to win.
I'd agree with that. The 1-2. Leland was saying how Gardenhire just has a great feel for how to handle his players. They come to the ballpark and settle for nothing less than coming to the yard and getting ready to beat you on a nightly basis.
Well, they were out here taking early batting practice before the Tigers took early batting practice today.
Down he goes. Jackson has another strikeout, his third.
And they set it up a week ago, so they don't really change much. They just work hard. Always. Adam Everett, who spent 1 year with the Minnesota Twins last year, said he took so many ground balls in spring training that he was tired before the game started.
Is that right?
But he said that's what they do. They are a fundamentally sound group.
Here's Denard Span showing bunt.
Span has basically taken over that center field job from the talented Carlos Gomez. They have 4 good outfielders, and of course only 3 of them can play at a time. And Span is the guy that's in there every day.
Well, since Torrey Hunter left, they were unable to keep him in a Minnesota uniform, although Torrey has Made some comments recently about how maybe he'd like to end his career back with the Twins if that opportunity presented itself. They've had Gomez out there and now Span. Hard to replace a guy like Torrey Hunter.
Well, you really don't replace him. You just hope you can get a guy like Span, who's young and athletic and can play out there and kind of knows what he can do as a leadoff hitter, gets on base, good on base percentage. He has done everything that Gardenhire would like to see a leadoff hitter do.
And I guess too, Rod, aside from the baseball skills that Hunter brought to this team, what he brought in the clubhouse and in the community as well. And he was a total package guy. With Span, good athletic ability. In fact, he was quite a receiver at Tampa Catholic High School. Led the country in receiving yards one year at Tampa Catholic. The 2-2. Minnesota just completed a series against Kansas City in which the Royals won 2 out of 3. Baker had a no-hitter going through the 6th inning yesterday, and then the roof caved in on the Twins.
That Kansas City team is for real. At
Hanging
least right
around.
now, they got pitching.
They're not going anywhere, it appears.
They got Zach Greinke going tonight against the Chicago White Sox. Looking for his 6th win of the year.
3-2 pitch. Right back up the middle. 1 out single for Denard Span. That's his 2nd hit. Well, tomorrow night is jam-packed with great action. First on Fox Sports Detroit, Fox Sports Plus, and HD. It's the Tigers and Twins here at Comerica Park. Coverage begins at 6:30 with Tigers Live. Then Fox Sports Detroit and HD takes you to Anaheim for Game 3 of the series between the Red Wings and the Ducks. Red Wings Live sets the scene starting at 10 o'clock. Baseball and hockey twin bill tomorrow here on Fox Sports Detroit. It'll be packed.
Span has 7 steals this year and has not been caught yet. They'll need to watch him closely.
What kind of move would you say Jackson had?
Average move. He's a good athlete, though, but doesn't have a great move. But I'm sure that with his athleticism, that's something that he could work on and get better at. They just want to make sure that he gives Laird an opportunity to throw, which means that he has to get the ball to home plate in a less time of 1.3 seconds if you're going to have any chance whatsoever at throwing Span out.
Four hits already for the Twins. And they put a couple of them together in the 2nd to score a run. There's a strike called on Alexi Casilla.
Casilla off to a really slow start this year. And just not performing all that well offensively. And at times he has taken his struggles offensively out to the field with him. And that's an absolute no-no at this level.
And he's the guy that had a pretty good year last year. Waves and misses. 0-2. Alexi last year hit .281 with 7 homers. He drove in 50.
And played a solid second base. And meanwhile, Jackson way ahead of him. No balls and 2 strikes.
Casilla this year has had 2 really long stretches, droughts offensively, and he waves and misses. Jackson has another strikeout, his 4th.
Back-to-back sliders to Casilla, tying him up.
Two gone. Now the meat of the lineup coming up. Joe Mauer. See, that 2nd inning took 27 pitches after a snappy first.
The Tigers have had very little success at getting a Mauer out in his career. But when they do have success against him, they make him pull the ball. The majority of Mauer's hits are up the middle and the other way to left field.
It seems like when they're getting him out, he's rolling over a ground ball to second base.
And that's exactly how you have to get him out. You have to make him pull the ball. He doesn't want to pull the ball. He has the ability to pull, but he doesn't like pulling it. Every now and then you force him into doing so. He is just as happy taking a lousy single the opposite way. This guy's won 2 batting titles already.
And that's how he's done it. From that position, to win 1 is a pretty good accomplishment. To win 2 really speaks to the type of hitter this guy is. 06 and last year he won batting titles.
In 06, he became the first catcher in American League history to win a batting title.
And the reason we say from that position is that because of the pounding you typically take throughout the course of the year, it's very difficult to maintain the type of average you need to win a batting title. But he's just a natural hitter.
Pure hitter. Maybe the best pure hitter in the American League. From the left side. Jackson doing a very nice job of at least keeping Span put at first base so far. And Jim Leland handling the pitching game, the running game I should say, relaying signs to Gerald Laird. Laird in turn relays those to Jackson when it's time to throw over.
High fly ball, shallow left field. Everett is back. Guillen is in. Carlos is there to retire the side. So they get a hit. A couple of strikeouts. They leave a man. We'll go to the bottom of the 3rd.
Tigers All-American deal. And get you an upper box ticket, hot dog, soft drink for only $22. Call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com.
Well, the Tigers need a run here as we go to the bottom of the 3rd, down by 1. It'll be the top of the order. Curtis Granderson, Placido Polanco, and Maglio Ordonez. Curtis struck out back in the 1st inning.
Curtis kind of liking bunting these days. He's already bunted for 2 base hits this year. That would be huge for his game.
In the past, Liriano was the type of pitcher that Curtis would not play against, but that has gone by the wayside now. Jim Leland knows that he's kind of the engine of this offense, so he's throwing him out there every day.
Yeah, he done took the training wheels off.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, training wheels are off. Graduated to the big boy bicycle.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. Popped up foul, back out of play.
But of course, I'm sure you were one of those kids that never had training wheels on your bicycle.
Oh no, I had them. Until I was about 15, 16. And my dad took them off for me.
Still doing your paper route with your training wheels on.
Ooh, that one just missed. 3-2. Granderson, Polanco, and Ordonez here in the Tigers' third. Tigers have only one hit, a single by Guillen back in the second. And he lost him. So Liriano has walked another. That's 3 already now for Francisco.
Well, Maurer put down the slider there, 3-2. And Liriano threw it, but couldn't get it down. But we've seen Liriano. He's thrown some good sliders today. But he's also hung quite a few breaking balls today as well. Ron Gardenhire, one of the best managers in the American League.
And Polanco. Placido had 4 hits in that Cleveland series.
And this is kind of shaping up as one of those games where the managers may have to put on a play or two because both starting pitchers appear to be on top of their games.
Polanco with a look back for Brian Gorman on that last call.
If managers had their way, they would just love to stand in the dugout and just watch the boys play. But every now and then you have to be aggressive as a manager with a sacrifice or a hit and run or pitch out, intentionally walk a guy to put your team in the best position to win a game.
And I think as a manager, you probably get a feel the first couple of innings of how the night may be going, what the other guy has, and that may have an influence on what you might do in an at-bat like this early in the game.
I think Jim did a magnificent job the other day with Verlander when they walked DeLucci with nobody out to fill the bases. No one talked about that.
No.
Key move in the ballgame. Looks like he's had some trouble with the bat handlers. The number 2 hitters, Liriano. Polanco hitting .417 against him in his career anyway.
Anderson continues to draw a look. Curtis 3 for 3 in stolen base attempts. They think he has a chance to steal 30. And they want to get him those opportunities. Riano brings it home and it's sliced foul.
Speaking of stolen bases, did you see where Carl Crawford stole 6 bases yesterday?
How does that happen?
He has 17 already this year.
So he had what? He had a 4-hit game, I think.
He sure did, and stole 6 bases.
So he had to steal third a couple of times.
He did.
He
did.
Impressive. 1-2. And that's popped up. Left side of the infield for Creedy. Walking into the grass. 1 out. So Liriano has been able to tiptoe through some trouble here. He loaded the bases back in the second on a single and 2 walks, pitched out of that by striking out the side. And now after a leadoff walk, he gets Polanco. Here's Ordonez, 0 for 1. And he sends a ground ball to third. Tough hop for Creedy. There's one at second. The relay is not in time. Maglio beat it out.
Creedy could not get the ball out of his glove cleanly. And that's the difference in Maglio being safe versus being out. Creedy, outstanding defender down at third, but had a difficult time of getting the ball on his way to Casilla. And that's the difference. I like how Casilla used that bag to protect himself so Granderson couldn't get to him.
2-out chance now for Cabrera. And he pops up the first pitch. Casilla at second base to the grass to retire the side. So the Tigers get a leadoff walk, leave him at first base. Still 1-0 Twins. Question tonight: who is the last Twins opening day starter to begin a season 0-5? That is your question for tonight. The last Twins opening day starter to begin the season 0-5.
I read that somewhere yesterday and can't remember who it was today. That's what happens when you get old.
You just read it yesterday?
I read it yesterday.
Dearest Morneau.
Wheels are turning up here.
I should laugh.
I got no shot.
I'm the same way. I am the same way. Morneau, Kubel, and Creedy in the Minnesota fourth. Morneau fly to center field back in the second, 0 for 1.
That was a changeup, that last pitch to Morneau, that I said Jackson will need a few of today, especially against the number 3 hitter Mauer, Morneau, and Kubel, the number 5 hitter.
Swing and a miss. 96 with the heater. Strikeouts are piling up now. 5 for Jackson.
Take a look at Laird here. Gives a sign now, real quiet, real heavy feet here. He goes inside and he lets Mauer hear him. Then he goes back outside. Even though he missed with that pitch with the location, he still was able to blow it by him. I don't think I've seen Laird do much of that. Move inside, move back outside.
I haven't either. Worked that time.
And when they move inside, they got the real heavy feet. They want to make sure you hear them.
Jason Kubel had a double in his first at bat and scored the game's only run. Kubel has hit safely in 11 of his last 15. That's outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. When you play, did you have a lot of catchers try and play games behind the plate, do stuff like that?
Yes. And there were catchers that they take their glove and they kind of pat it real hard on the inside and then they go back outside.
Did he go? Nope. It's Jerry Davis down at third.
Ooh, close. Nice block by Laird.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fouled away.
Well, Kubel got it started for them back in the second inning. He doubled over the head of Carlos Guillen. It's a fastball 2-2 pitch. And then Dyer worked the count to 3-2 and bounced one right back up the middle. That's a Metrodome hit right there.
That's rolled foul. Getting back to that catcher thing, did you ever have any catchers try and tell you the pitch that was coming.
Absolutely.
And
one, really.
Is that right?
Tony Pena.
In the big leagues, Tony Pena.
Yes, yeah, Tony Pena.
Now,
not in the big leagues. I mean, it was in winter ball, and it was in instructional league and rookie ball because he was in the National League and I was in the American League. But I played against him several stops. I played down in Dominican Republic 3 years, and he was a star catcher on one of the teams. So, you know, I was up against him quite a bit, and he would tell you, here comes a fastball.
And would it be?
And it would be a fastball. He said, I told you, dummy, it was a fastball. But you would never believe him.
Of course not.
You wouldn't believe, but he would do it. Tony Pena had a lot of fun playing the game. As we all should.
Absolutely. Down goes Kubel.
Jackson has got his electric stuff once again here tonight. Overpowering fastball. He's touched 98 in that slide piece. Unhittable. When you can throw 97 on one pitch and then come back the next pitch and throw 84 to 85 from the same arm slot and the same arm speed, the hitter's got no chance.
Well, Jackson now has equaled his season high with 6 strikeouts. He also fanned 6 in Seattle. And a victory, his first win of the season. Joe Creedy, the batter. Good pitch right at the knees for strike 2. Edwin's career strikeout high is 9, so he's only 3 shy of that. Bouncing ball hit to the right side. Cabrera able to knock it down. Does he have time? Got him at first base.
Nice recovery.
Jackson got over there. Cabrera stayed with it. Close play. Out. Play to stop that ball and recovered nicely to throw to first base for the out.
You know, I was talking to Rafael Belliard about that exact play yesterday afternoon. We were talking about Cabrera.
It's in the air to center. Yan hits it hard again, but he's out.
And let's take one more look at it. One of the things that he said Cabrera is healthy this year. He said last year he had a bad hit problem. Take a look at Polanco right here. This ball is hit directly at Polanco. He has to go a few steps to his left, but he catches this ball. It's a much easier play if Cabrera recognizes that, and then he just gets back to the bag and then lets Polanco make the play. But he's feeling a little bit better these days with the hip, that injury that he had last year. Therefore, he hadn't really gotten together on which plays to go for and which plays to get back to first base on.
And you said something key there. I think we seem to forget that last year he was hurt at the beginning of the year, and that kind of affected everything he did.
That hip. Yeah, he had that hip flexor thing going on last year. Started in spring training. He couldn't move.
Gerald Laird, the batter, with 1 out. In the meantime, Guillen hits the ball hard again, but straight at the center fielder's span. And now Laird trying to get something going. He fanned back in the second. Liriano has walked 3, struck out 4.
Liriano is using all of his pitches today. The changeup, he's got the slider, he's got the fastball with some movement at 93, 94. He is sort of looking like the Liriano of a couple of years ago.
Very similar. Right to the third baseman Creedy. And Laird is out, 2 gone. He's 0 for 2. There's that trivia question again. The Aflac Duck would like to know who was the last Twins opening day starter to begin a season 0-5.
It was in 1970, I think, though.
I don't think so.
Not that far back?
No.
Viola.
Frank Viola, 89. And Viola went on to finish 8-12 that year. Here's Brandon Inge. There's a strike right at the knees. Inge has that streak going of 24 consecutive games reaching base.
Doing a nice job this year against left-handed pitching as well, over 300.
Couldn't hold up there, and it's 0-2. High fly ball, right field. Medium depth. Kadire is under it, and Liriano has himself a 1-2-3 inning. 4 in the books at Comerica, 1-0 Twins. Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by your Chrysler and Jeep Superstores. And by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. It's 80s night here at the ballpark. All kinds of 80s creatures here at the yard tonight. Mario and Rod back at the park. Glad to have you with us. And looks like it's kind of the same old story for Edwin Jackson. Not a whole lot of run support tonight, Rod, but Liriano, he's been really good.
Well, both starting pitchers. And yesterday was a doozy as far as starting pitchers were concerned, with Verlander going out there against Cliff Lee, and it's continued here tonight as well. So whichever team blinks first, I guess, will be the one that doesn't win this ball game today. But hopefully the Tigers can somehow muster some runs against Liriano tonight.
And to his credit, Jackson continues to pitch well, as he gave up just the 1 run in the second on the RBI hit to Michael Kadire. It's Kadire leading it off. Jackson still throwing hard. That last pitch at 97. He'll be followed by Delman Young and then Nick Punto. 7, 8, 9 in the lineup for the Twins here in the 5th. First meeting between these two teams. We'll see each other a bunch this year. Last year the Twins won 11 of the 18 between the two clubs. 3-1 the count. And he lost it. Ball 4. Leadoff man is on. .98 in the Comcast high-speed pitch. Low of 79. And now Rick Knapp coming out to the mound to have a chat with Jackson. I would imagine the Tigers will have gotten a pretty good scouting report and all. Of course, they've seen these guys a lot, but I'm sure Rick Knapp has had his input as to what they can expect from the pitchers in this series.
Oh, absolutely.
You got Liriano tonight, and then tomorrow it's going to be Nick Blackburn against Rick Porcello.
As you said earlier, too, they play each other 18 times. So and by the time they get to that 5th or 6th game, they got a pretty good idea of what each player can do and some of the tendencies of what Jim will do, and also Gardenhire on the other side.
Delman Young struck out back in the second.
He loves that first pitch.
There he goes. 0-1.
Sometimes gets himself in trouble. He's a good hitter. He's a good player. But opposing teams know that he loves to swing at the first pitch. Therefore, most often, they're not going to really give him anything that he can really do any damage with. That last pitch was not a pitch that Delman could really do a whole lot with, but yet he was coming out of his shoes on it.
0-2. I can't imagine he's seen too many first pitch fastballs.
Well, they may throw him the fastball, but it'll be a little high, a little in, a little off the plate outside. You know, just to see if he's in a swinging mood, which he is on most days.
And he's down to the count 0-2. Going to put a wrinkle in another one again, and that time it misses low and bounced in against Laird.
I think that ball hit his hand. I think he blocked it with his bare hand. Let's take one more look at it and see. Sure did.
Ouch. That walk to Kadire was the first of the night for Jackson to go with his 6 strikeouts. Kadire 3 steals this year in 4 attempts. One thing we do know about Delman Young is that he is an outfielder that you don't want to run on. He's had 29 assists since the start of the 07 season. Sends a ground ball to third, could be 2. Inge stays with it. There's 1. Here's the relay. There's 2.
Polanco is tough as nails. He is a baseball player. He knew he was going to get taken out by Kadire, because that's the way the Minnesota Twins play the game of baseball. They play hard, they play aggressive, but he stayed in there and was able to turn it over.
So the Tigers swing it around the horn, a 5-4-3 double play. And here is Nick Punto with the bases empty. Lifted foul back out of play. Punto struck out in the third. Jackson's 0-1. Now it's 0-2.
Seems like you said that quite a bit today.
Yep.
Jackson 0-2.
Sure helps, doesn't it?
Oh, kidding me? Most guys hit a bucket some change when they're down no balls and 2 strikes.
Got it. They'll throw down at first base, completing the strikeout. That is a season high 7 strikeouts for Jackson. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. Cinco de Mayo is almost here. Be sure to grab some ice cold Corona or Corona Light, the perfect holiday for Mexico's favorite beer.
Now, what are we?
By the way, I got one more line on this. Hang on. Relax responsibly. Okay. There it is.
Goodness gracious.
Check out my do.
I'm checking that out. I got the Granderson high socks on.
Man, I got the Devo haircut. Wow. That is sweet.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank you very much. I think the 1-1 is popped up. Right side of the infield, Morneau and Casilla. Casilla calls and catches, and that's 1 out.
This has turned into an old-fashioned pitcher's duel. Liriano has given up 1 hit. Jackson has given up 4. Both on top of their games tonight. We've seen a lot of good pitching performances this year. Quite a few from the Tigers, but we've also seen some opposing teams, starters go out there and pitch well, too.
Just like the Tigers were doing in the 80s. 84 especially.
Jack Morris, Dan Petrie.
Adam Everett struck out back in the 2nd. And he struck out with the bases loaded. It was really the only inning that Liriano had any kind of trouble. A couple of walks and a single. That base hit by Guillen remains the only hit the Tigers have so far. But a long way to go. There's a strike. Like a high strike there, right at the Old English D of Adam Everett. Liriano missed all of 2007 with Tommy John surgery. He was recalled for good last year after winning 10 of his final 11 starts at AAA Rochester. They finally called him up. He was tearing it up down there at AAA. But it took a while for him to get back to the big leagues. Had a 9 strikeout performance in September against the Tigers. That's popped up foul, heading back to the seats and out of play.
They really had at the time no room for Liriano because those kids were pitching so well. Baker, and Slowey, and Blackburn. Their rotation was a young rotation last year, but it's one that matured very quickly. And of course, the Twins ended up playing that 1-game playoff in game 163 against the Chicago White Sox. But their kids pitched well last year.
Swing and a miss. And Everett is down again. That is 5 strikeouts for Liriano.
You know, as a matter of fact, before this year started, Bud Selig said that if something came up like this year, for instance, where, let's say the Tigers were tied with the Minnesota Twins at the end of the 162-game schedule, and they had to play 1-game playoff, whichever team had the best record head-to-head, that's where the game would be played versus a coin flip that they did last year.
Shouldn't that be the way it should be?
It should have been that way.
I think so.
Because the Twins were better head-to-head against the White Sox, but yet the White Sox won the coin flip, and they played that game at U.S. Cellular Field.
And it's a much different game inside the Metrodome, that is for sure. 1-1 on Curtis Granderson. Grandy tonight with a walk and a strikeout. The 1-1. Liriano, back in 06 when he had that great year, finished 3rd in the American League Rookie of the Year voting that year behind Verlander and Papelbon.
And Liriano didn't show up until about the halfway point.
Yeah, otherwise, he might have run away with it. Although Verlander had a really good year. The 2-2.
I was getting ready to say that Verlander is pitching like he did back in 2006. But actually, he's pitching better than he pitched in 2006. His last few starts.
checked his swing. 3-2. Full count pitch. We'll head back toward the seats. Let's see if it gets there. Morneau runs out of room. On top of the Twins dugout. Back into the seats it goes.
Granderson's had some decent at-bats today against Liriano. He struck out his first time up, but the second time he walked on 6 pitches, and he's already seen 6 pitches in this at-bat. So he's getting a real good look at Liriano.
Swing and a miss. Liriano got him that time. Struck him out for the second time in the game. 6 overall. Liriano cruising right now.
Strikeouts already for Edwin Jackson through the first 5 innings of this game, and he has been very impressive, overpowering with the fastball in the mid-90s. That slider has had some real nice depth to it. Very few changeups, but he's been able to dominate a Minnesota Twins team that usually doesn't strike out all that often. They put the ball in play.
Yeah, not tonight. 7 strikeouts. Here's a line drive to right. Maglio is there, and Denard Span is retired. 1 gone.
And now, as a starting pitcher, you've kind of got the Minnesota Twins right where you want them. And because he has his good stuff today, now they're going up there swinging at the very first thing that they see, which will get his pitch count manageable again. He's thrown 80 pitches through 5.
Here's Alexi Casilla. 0 for 2. Hit into that double play where he popped up the bunt in the first inning. One and one on Casilla. He has had some stretches. In fact, right now he's 0 for 13. In April, he had an 0 for 15 stretch. That's why his average is sub 200.
He's thinking about bunting again. But if he goes down toward Inge will get him.
Two-two pitch. Fastball low and inside. 3-2. Joe Mauer waiting on deck. Ooh. A direct hit on the foul ball. These two teams again will play 18 times this year. That's hit pretty well into left center field. Granderson covering a lot of ground. 2 gone, and one of those games will be tomorrow night. Don't forget about the big action-packed doubleheader. First on Fox Sports Detroit, Fox Sports Plus in HD. Tigers and Twins here at Comerica Park. 6:30 start time with Tigers Live. And then Fox Sports Detroit in HD takes you to Anaheim for Game 3 of the series between the Red Wings and the Ducks. And they'll set the scene with Red Wings Live at 10 o'clock. Baseball, hockey, twin bill tomorrow as the Wings continue their quest for another cup. 3 overtime thriller evened up that series for Anaheim. There is strike 1 on Joe Mauer. Mauer is 0 for 2. Strikeout, fly ball, which has dipped his average all the way down to .583. He came in 7 for 10. He homered on his first at bat back, didn't he?
First swing.
First swing back. Okay.
First swing back. He's got a lot of talent.
He underwent some surgery in the offseason on his kidney and then developed a back problem that kept him out of the lineup for April. The 1-1 fouled away.
Real down-to-earth guy as well. I mean, around the batting cage, if you go up to him, he's very polite. Yes, sir. No, sir. Answers all your questions. Just a real good human being is Mauer.
Well, a batting title and a Gold Glove last year. He became the first player in the American League to win those 2 awards in the same season since Ichiro did it in 04.
Not afraid to hit with 2 strikes either.
3-2.
There are a lot of guys swinging at that pitch right there. It's a big pitch right here. Throw it right down the middle and let him hit it as far as he can. More often than not, it's not going to leave the park.
Pulled to first base. Cabrera. And a 1-2-3 inning for Edwin Jackson. Polanco, Ordonez, Cabrera coming up.
Back to the 6th inning, and that means it's Coors Light freeze can. We're going to take you all the way back to the 1st inning. Runner on first base, which was Span. A bad bunt by Alexi Casilla. Jackson could have caught it for just 1 out, but he elected to allow the ball to bounce. Then they got the out at first base, and they needed to get the force at second because Span, who was on first base, had to hold up momentarily. And just a heads-up play by Edwin Jackson. Of course, Coors Light freeze can brought to you by your Frost brewed Coors Light.
So Jackson has looked really good. Unfortunately, the Tigers have not, to this point, been able to back him up in the offense. Polanco leads it off against Francisco Liriano. Liriano has given up just 1 hit through 5 innings. A single by Guillen back in the second. Polanco is 0 for 2. The 0-1.
He's got that good slider today.
It is a nasty biting slider.
When you see Polanco swing like that and miss, that means the other guy out there has got some really good stuff, because he usually does not swing and miss. Maurer wants the fastball up.
The 1-2. Placido wouldn't bite that time. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Liriano last year 6-4 in 14 starts, at an ERA of just under 4. Ron Gardenhire, like Jim Leland, hoping his team can get on a little bit of a roll here and maybe separate themselves in the Central, which is still bunched up, and down goes Polanco. That is 7 strikeouts now for Liriano. By the way, this game tonight is available in crystal clear high definition on Fox Sports Detroit HD, sponsored by Comcast. Another very nice night here at the ballpark. 60 degrees right now. It was 65 at game time. And it's been Liriano and Jackson tonight dueling it. There's a strike on Maglio Ordonez.
And Liriano's done a very nice job of that today, getting ahead of the Tigers with strike 1.
Bounced right back to the mound. Liriano flags it down. 2 gone.
We have seen 3 of your premier left-handed pitchers in the American League in the span of a week. CC Sabathia, Cliff Lee, and tonight, Liriano.
Liriano tonight has a season-high 7 strikeouts. $80 pitches so far. And Liriano right now has retired 11 consecutive Tigers. Cabrera is 0 for 1 with a walk.
He might walk him again. He's not going to allow Cabrera to beat him.
There's a drive in the air, left center field, way back, and that ball is gone, a home run.
He did let Cabrera beat him.
A 2-0 pitch lands in the bullpen in left center.
He let him beat him.
Should have taken your advice.
Oh my goodness. I'm shocked. After he fell behind 2 balls and no strikes, I didn't think he'd still try to get him again. I thought he'd walk him and go after Carlos Guillen. He went down and got a breaking ball and absolutely crushed it. That gives you an idea of how strong Cabrera is. That really wasn't a bad pitch. But he went down and got it and clobbered it.
Boy, did he. To the tune of 414 feet. Number 6 for Cabrera. It extends his hitting streak to 8 consecutive games. More importantly, it ties this game up. Guillen is 1 for 2. He's pulled foul.
You know, we were talking at the beginning of our telecast tonight just how valuable Morneau and Maurer are to their clubs. And as a manager and a pitching coach, you try to get yourself in positions every time they come up where you really only have to pitch to one guy. And you can walk the other guy if you choose to do so. I am really shocked they decided to pitch to Cabrera there.
Well, it's one thing to go into an at-bat thinking I'm not going to give this guy anything good to hit, but when you run the count to 2-0, that is really kind of stunning. And that thing was a laser. Second hit of the game for the Tigers. But it's a big one. It tied up at 1. Liriano had retired 11 straight, just cruising along, 7 strikeouts, and then Cabrera got him. 18th RBI for Miguel, which gives Jackson a little bit of offensive support.
Killed.
Grounded foul.
Liriano has thrown a lot of sliders here tonight. I mean, a lot of them.
A pitch that is considered one of those pitches that puts a lot of torque on the elbow and a lot of strain on the elbow.
You know, you talked about the fact that he missed the entire 2007 season with that Tommy John surgery, and even when he came back, was it 06 or 07 when he missed?
07 with the surgery, yeah.
Even when he came back, he was a little reluctant in throwing that slider just because of what you said. It does put a lot of torque on the elbow, but apparently he is 100% sound because he has thrown a lot of them today. And for the most part, it's been a pretty good pitch for him.
Here's the 2-2 again. Got him. And Cabrera, or I should say Guillen, might beat this out. He will. They're going to call him out. He got in the way of Mauer, who was trying to pick that ball up, and they're going to call him out. So Guillen is out. So are the Tigers, but Cabrera is able to tie this game up with one mighty swing. Pow! It's a 1-1 game. And ended that inning, and there seemed to be some interference there, Ron.
It looked like he kicked it with his right foot after the strikeout, running out of the batter's box. It looks like he kicks the ball right now with his right foot.
Go and get that, Mauer.
A little frustration there on Carlos Guillen's part.
Nice try. Well, Tigers tied it up. Jackson back to the hill, and he is facing Justin Morneau. Then Kubel, then Creedy. Lifted back out of play, 0-2. Morneau is 0 for 2. Fly ball, strikeout. He hit 300 last year with 23 homers and 129 RBIs.
He is an RBI machine. Clutch performer.
He held up, it appeared. Yep.
He stole in the home run hitting contest away from Josh Hamilton last year at Yankee Stadium. He said he felt bad accepting the trophy.
Should have gave it to him. The 1-2.
He might have.
That's going to get through a base hit.
Boy, he got him down 0-2. We're going to make it our bell tire pitch by pitch. When you get ahead of a guy like Mauer, no balls and 2 strikes. First pitch, breaking ball up the top of the strike zone. Swings through it. Then he comes right back with a good, firm fastball up. And then on a 1-2 pitch, he allows the pitch to get too much plate. And Morneau's one of those guys that really doesn't take a big swing once you get ahead of him with 2 strikes. Found a seam on the right side of the Tigers infield.
And as a result, the go-ahead run is aboard. Jackson induced a double play ball on the ground in the 5th inning, and that was something he was very good at last year. In fact, he was tied for 5th in the American League. 27 double play balls.
He could use one of those now.
One and one. The 7 strikeouts tonight for Jackson is a season high, 2 shy of his career high. And he's now reached 100 pitches here in the 7th. Jim Leland has been preaching, we've got to get our starters to hit 100 pitches in the 7th inning, not the 5th inning. 7th or later. And that in turn will make your bullpen a lot better. And it just didn't happen enough last year. Bullpen was taxed as a result. Verlander was awesome yesterday. Galarraga routinely will do that. Just missed. 3-2. Edwin wanted that one.
It was close. We'll see if Ron Gardenhire wants to run Morneau on a 3-2 pitch here, hoping to stay out of the double play.
Runner holds, and there is ball 4, and this is the start of something perhaps here for the Twins, a single and a walk. Second base on balls for Jackson.
They may still be okay. I don't think Creedy's going to bunt. He's one of those guys that it's not part of his game. Although he is now wearing a Minnesota Twins uniform, so you never know. So I guess what I'm saying is if it was one of those other guys, Punto, Casilla, somebody else coming up, they would most definitely be bunting here to get runners on 2nd and 3rd. So Jackson still has a chance and to get Creedy to hit something on the ground and get a double play.
So they'll talk it over around the hill, and while they do that, we'd remind you to vote for the Tigers player of the game using your cell phone. Text Tigers followed by a space and then the player's uniform number. Text that to 74499. See the final results post-game during Tigers Live and your early voting. Brandon Inge.
They just love Brandon these days.
Doesn't matter what he does.
Because he has not done anything today.
Cabrera's 3rd, and all he's done is tie up the game.
Oh, well.
It's all right. Brandon Lyon beginning to heat up now in the Detroit bullpen.
Not a 1 sacrifice bunt this year by Creedy.
Well, I can't imagine he's doing it here. That's hit in the air to right field, slicing away from Maglio. This one might be trouble if it's fair. It's a fair ball up against the wall. Here comes Morneau to 3rd. They're going to send him home. He will come around to score. Kubel goes to 3rd base. It's a double and an RBI for Joe Creedy.
How did that ball stay fair?
It stayed fair barely. A whole lot of room down there.
Creedy had a 2-strike approach there on the very first pitch of the at-bat from Jackson. Now he was spread out, and he just took a nice, easy swing. Just a little contact swing, just trying to put the ball in play. And got rewarded with a double.
Fair by a couple of feet at the most. 2-1 Minnesota. They have runners at second and third and still nobody out. Here's Michael Kadire. He hits one deep to center field. Granderson got turned around and that ball is over his head. This might get 2 runs in. Kubel scores. Creedy rounding third. They send him home. He'll score. Throw coming to third is not in time. It's a triple for Michael Kadire. And the Twins have come out swinging the bat here in the 7th. 4-1 ball game.
I don't know if Granderson gets to this ball even if he breaks back on it right away. And you can see he got turned around. Then he had to get on his horse. And that ball short hopped the gate in 420 out in center field by the time he got it in. And Kadire was sliding in at third.
I don't think he gets there anyway. Jackson is done. We do know that. Wall side windows pitching change. Edwin pitched so brilliantly through 6 innings, but he gives up 3 runs here in the 7th. We'll be back.
Including June. Home 313-471-BALL or online at tigers.com.
Stormtroopers in the house tonight. On 80s night, Darth Vader's here as well. Luke. Well, it's a 4-1 ball game now, and Brandon Lyon is out. Look out. And hit by the pitch. It's Delman Young. That's not a good start for Brandon.
That breaking ball just kept chasing Delman. He tried to get out of the way, but the ball just continued to chase him.
That's one first pitch Young was not going to swing at.
No.
Still nobody out in this inning.
10th appearance this year for Brandon Lyon, after spending last year with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Here's a bunt to the right side, and Cabrera comes home with a tag. Got him.
Nice play by Cabrera. That was not a squeeze play, but Punto was hoping that Kadire would have gotten a better jump off of third when he bunted the ball toward Cabrera. Kadire does take off right away, but a heads-up play by Cabby. And Laird was right there to apply the tag on Kadire.
Punto is aboard on a fielder's choice. Put out goes 3-2, and that kind of changes the complexion of this inning now. It gives the Tigers a chance to get out of here down by just 3.
And Gerald Laird went out with a visit to talk to a Lyon about the possibility of there being a double steal, but it won't be Lyon that'll be on the mound. It'll be somebody else.
Leland marching out to the mound. And the skipper takes the baseball. Clay Rapata is about to come in. There he is. We'll be back. Well, the Twins have taken a 4-1 lead, and Clay Rapata is in now for Detroit.
And second time that he's been in the game now since coming up from AAA. And Clay going up against this Minnesota Twins team. And one of the reasons why he's here. Try to neutralize some of their left-handed bats.
Well, first and second with Denard Span coming up. 3-run inning here in the 7th for Minnesota after the Tigers had tied it up on the Cabrera home run in the bottom of the 6th.
As I was saying before, when Laird went out to talk to Brandon Line, he was going out to refresh Line's memory of the fact that the 2 base runners out there right now have good speed. Delman can run, and of course Punto can fly. And therefore Jim goes to the bullpen. He brings in Rapata. Rapata is a lot quicker getting the ball to home plate than Line is.
And you've got the lefty-lefty matchup here. Span has a couple of hits in this game. 1-1. Rapata did not make the team out of spring training. Plays pitched for the Tigers parts of the last 2 seasons. He was recalled prior to Tuesday's game against the Yankees.
We got him from the Cubs in the Monroe deal, right?
Correct. Little chopper hit toward the shortstop. Everett, tough play. It's aside from his glove in the left, and Young will stop at third. It's going to load the bases.
Not sure what Everett was going to do with that ball. More than likely he was going to try to get the force play at third base because that's where his momentum was carrying him. It would have been tough to get Punto at second, and I think that's why he came in and created a short hop for himself.
Seven hits now for Minnesota. The bases are loaded with speed to burn on the bases. Alexi Casilla waving a miss.
It will be tough to double up Casilla unless he hits a bullet right at somebody.
Strike call. 0-2. Check the hit totals. 8 hits for the Twins. That last ruling was indeed a hit.
Base hit?
Yeah. I jumped the gun a little bit, but it was a hit. It was a chopper foul. Oh, look out. Hurry up. Get back in your seat. Hurry. Don't hurt yourself. Easy there, young man. Oh, 0-2. Driven in the air, left field shallow. Here comes Guillen. It's going to drop right off the end of the bat. 1 run will score. Punto almost lapped Young, and he scores with ease.
How about Punto getting a read on that ball? Wow.
And Casilla drives in 2 more.
You know, one of the things that we talked about in that Cleveland series is the fact that Carlos is a lot more comfortable playing deeper, which allows him to come in for balls versus having to go back on balls. And the result of that, and when you play a guy like Casilla that deep, you're not going to be able to come in and make a play. And that's one of the things that Leland was talking about before the game about baseball player when he was talking about Punto.
There you go.
There you have it right there.
Great example, an excellent read, and he almost caught Young. So it's 6-1 now, a 5-run inning. And here's the 9th man to bat in the frame. It's Joe Mauer. How many big innings have the Tigers given up on this homestand alone?
There's been a few. I mean, really, that's kind of been their Achilles heel all year long. That one big inning.
Really kind of has erased what was a really good pitching performance from Edwin Jackson. There go the runners, and it's rolled foul.
How about that? You got Mauer standing in the batter's box, who won the batting title last year. And you got your guys taking off trying to steal second and third with a left-handed batter up there.
They just let it fly, don't they? Mauer is 0 for 3. By the way, the 7th inning in Jackson's last 2 starts, a total of 15 runs have been scored by the opponents. Of course, the Yankees had that 10-run inning. Edwin was taken out after 6 in that game, so he had nothing to do with that. And he was so good for 6 tonight. Swing and a miss, and Rapata is able to get Mauer for the 2nd out. He's going to bring up Morneau. Nine hits tonight for the Twins, only 2 for the Tigers. A 5-run 7th. Another big left-handed batter in Justin Morneau. Morneau is single for 3. The base hit started this inning. Did he have Mo too on that single, Morneau, when he started?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And the count was 1-2 when he got the base hit.
The 0-1 pitch. Morneau last year finished 2nd in the MVP voting to Dustin Pedroia, won his first Silver Slugger Award last year. He's the top hitting first baseman in the American League. There's the strike, 1-2.
Rapata's got the kind of stuff where he could be very tough on left-handers. Hides the baseball well behind his left leg. Long and lanky and lean. Long arm. And he's thrown some good breaking balls here already. That time he kind of changed his arm slot to a low 3/4 arm slot. Gave Morneau a different look. Morneau is the kind of guy that will have you out there trying to invent some stuff.
Here's the 2-2. Chop to the second baseman, Polanco. And that will end the inning. But they send 10 men to the plate, and it's a big inning. A 5-run 7th for the Twins. Jackson is out of the game. Laird, Inge, and Rayburn trying to come back. You can browse the largest selection of authentic Tigers gear, including clubhouse caps, t-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, and a whole lot more. Get your Tigers gear straight from the source at the Tigers.com shop.
Can we get one of them heads like that at the team shop?
It's just one large melon.
Tom Selleck, big top.
Look at the size of that thing.
Jim Schmeichel would have to get that hat stretcher out there. Take care of Selleck.
How much gel do you think that thing would take? The hat stretcher. How does he not tip over? Seriously.
You see how he's walking.
Well, here come the Tigers now trying to get it going as Laird pops it up to start things off here in the bottom of the 7th, and he's out.
Well, nothing's changed with these Minnesota Twins. They are as pesky as ever.
Well, even when they get off to not so quick starts. They came in at 12 and 13, but Liriano has looked really good tonight.
Surprisingly, they held their own without their superstar catcher. They were 11 and 11 in the 22 games they played without Mauer in the month of April.
Brandon Inge is 0 for 2. Still chasing Ron LaFleur, who began the season by reaching in 30 consecutive games. Brandon has been on base in 24 straight. LaFleur did that in 76, so it's been a while since anybody's had that type of streak to start a year. But Inge needs a base hit, or he needs to get on base here to keep it going. 2-1. And he hits it high in the air, shallow left center field. The shortstop is back to make the play. Punto had to battle that thing. And Brandon is 0 for 3. 2 gone. We'll bring up Ryan Rayburn. Ryan 0 for 1 with a walk. Chops this one toward third. Foul. Only 2 Tigers hits tonight. One of them left the building. The home run by Cabrera, which tied the game back in the 6th inning. That made it 1-1, but the tie did not last very long. 5-run 7th. The 0-1. So now Rayburn down to the count. 8 strikeouts for Liriano tonight. He had a 12 strikeout game against the Tigers when he was going so good back in 06. The 0-2 is swung on and missed. And the Tigers go 1-2-3, 9 strikeouts. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Tire. Nice night here downtown. We're in Detroit. Game 1 in this short 2-game set between a couple of Central Division rivals, and the Minnesota Twins lead at 6-1 as Clay Rapata goes back to the hill to pitch in the 8th inning, and he is facing Jason Kubel to lead it off. Kubel, Creedy, and Kadire. 5 runs, 7th. The difference tonight, breaking a 1-all tie. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tomorrow it's going to be Blackburn and Porcello. And it's on to Chi-Town.
Bring your pocketbook.
Yeah, you got the credit cards all ready to go?
I'm using cash these days.
Are you? That's going to go foul down the right field line. Cash your credit.
Trying to wise up and use some cash these days.
Doesn't matter. It gets you all the time when you go to that city.
That much is true.
1-2. Way outside from Rapata. Clay took over in the 7th inning. Gave up a couple of hits and then got a couple of outs. Missed it again. 3-2. There's Creedy waiting on deck. Kubel's done a nice job of laying off that breaking ball outside. And that time he's called looking. On the outside corner, strike 3.
And because he was laying off the breaking ball, Rapata came back. It would look like a fastball, obviously. And he couldn't pull the trigger.
It's going to be it for Rapata, it appears. Leland takes the baseball, and Clay faces the lefty and will head to the dugout. Tigers go back to the bullpen. Perry comes trotting in. We'll be back. Along for the ride. Just go to DetroitRedWings.com and get your tickets to this Sunday's Game 5, the Red Wings Ducks series. 2009 Stanley Cup playoffs. The beard is back. Some Red Wings fans here.
Yeah, he's got the goatee going.
The goatee is back. Tiger fan and Wings fan.
Easy, big fella.
Face yourself. Here's Ryan Perry.
The hard throwing Ryan Perry. This kid here is going to be fun to watch. Obviously, he's had a few control issues in the 11 games that he's pitched in the big leagues. But he's still very young, 1 year out of college, with tremendous upside.
Well, one thing is for sure, Jim Leland has not been afraid to use him. He is tied for 2nd among American League rookie pitchers in appearances. He's facing Creedy here in the 8th inning. The base is empty, 1 out.
You know, Jim was talking yesterday about Porcello and Perry and how he and Rick Knapp, the pitching coach, understand how tough it can be to still teach at this level and also have a couple of guys that also help you win. So, I mean, there are days when Perry, will throw on the side down in the bullpen, and Jim will still have to use him in a game that night. He won't do that with Porcello as much because he's a starter, but these guys are very much on-the-job training, so to speak.
Well, and they both, I think, won jobs based on what they did in spring training. Would Leland prefer to have them in the minor leagues right now? Absolutely. But they were the best they had, and they were the best shot at having the Tigers win some games at the big league level. Oh, look out. Down goes Jerry White. He was hit by that line drive. Oh, my goodness. It looked like it hit him somewhere in the chest. And that's why they are making the base coaches wear helmets these days. Did it get him in the leg? It looked like he tried to jump out of the way.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I thought it got him in the shoe. He's pointing to where it got him at.
He tried to leap out of the way, and fortunately it didn't get him above the waist. It got him apparently on the foot somewhere. Oh, but he's hurting right now. We've seen some close calls with base coaches, but I'm trying to remember if I've ever seen any base coach get hit. Yep, it's that right foot. They're going to have to walk him off. Boy, oh boy. And it is really hurting. You can't even put any weight at all on it. Well, we hope Jerry's okay. It looks like Joe Vabra, the hitting coach, is putting the helmet on, and he may take over down in the coaching box.
He is in a lot of pain.
It must have caught him flush somewhere on a bone.
Wow.
Man. So that look says it all. Jerry White being helped off the field and into the clubhouse. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Joe Creedy. Fly ball, shallow right field. Polanco back, Maglio in. 2 outs. And there is Vabra, the hitting coach. Now taking over at first. Breaking ball is in there to Michael Kadire, who had a big 2-run triple back in the 7th inning. Another breaking ball in for a strike.
Now, if Perry can get to the point where he's very comfortable throwing that breaking ball, as he did there, and then we are going to see a young man that really emerges as a 7th inning guy for the Tigers. Of course, they've got Zumaya for the 8th, and Rodney's been closing, and Bobby C has been coming in, getting tough left-handers out late in games. But at the back end of the game, they got 3 power arms.
There is strike 3. 97 on the gun. Nicely done by Ryan Perry. You look good tonight. Catching Kadire looking. Go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and Rick Knapp reinforcing what he did. There's a line drive to left and a base hit for Adam Everett. The leadoff man is on here in the 8th inning. Got some changes now defensively for Minnesota. Carlos Gomez will take over in center field. And Denard Span will move from center to left, replacing Delman Young. And we have some activity. Matt Guerrier is starting to warm up out in the bullpen for Minnesota. Tigers have picked up just their 3rd hit of the game, and here is Curtis Granderson. And he rifles one foul down the right field line. A couple of loud swings here greeting Liriano in the 8th. Randy loops one, and this one went into left field, and Span is coming out. That's 1 out. Everett goes back to first base. They'll bring up Polanco. Placido is 0 for 3. Ground ball, fair ball inside the bag at third base, out of the reach of Creedy. Everett's going to third. They're going to hold him there, and Polanco has himself a double. Another 2-base hit for Placido Polanco.
They've been pitching Polanco inside all day long. That's a changeup that doesn't get quite away from Polanco, and he rips it down the third baseline past a diving Creedy. Actually, it didn't leave his feet. Bernard Span in the outfield did a pretty nice job of getting over to that ball because of his speed, and Everett was not able to score.
It's a team high 11th double for Polanco this year. And that's going to be it for Liriano, so he is done. Guerrier will come on to face Maglio Ordonez.
Outstanding night for Liriano. Looking to get his first win of the year against 4 losses. And let's take a look at how and why he was so effective. He had a really good slider today, and he threw a lot of them. As a matter of fact, the majority of his strikeouts today came on the slide piece. There's another one. 5, 6, 7. Change piece there. 8, 9. He didn't get any strikeouts with the fastball today.
No, didn't need to.
He showed it to you early in the count and then put you away with the secondary pitches, although they were not secondary pitches tonight.
Liriano will give way to the bullpen now. The Tigers have runners at second and third, and the new pitcher is Matt Guerrier.
He has had to use him a bunch this year, and Guerrier's been good, not necessarily from an earned run average standpoint, but the opponent's batting average against him just 196.
For Liriano, the 103 pitches that he threw tonight is a season high. 9 strikeouts. Oh, I'm sorry, 1 shy of his season high. So close, but good nonetheless. 3 walks, 9 strikeouts. Do the Tigers have another rally in them? They have shown some comeback ability on this homestand. One swing of the bat now from tightening this one up considerably, and they've got the heart of their lineup coming up.
So far this year, Guerrier has inherited 10 base runners. 4 have come around to score. There's a couple more out there the Tigers would love to see touch home plate.
Here's Maglio. He's 0 for 3. The 2 runners are Everett and Polanco. Swinging on the first pitch. A fastball that Maglio thought he could handle, and he fouls it away. Ground ball hit to third, deep behind the bag. Creedy got him. That'll score a run as Everett comes in to make it 6-2, give an RBI to Ordonez. And Maglio gets his 12th RBI. 2 outs. Here's Cabrera. Miguel homered back in the 6th, solo shot, his 6th of the year. Running his hitting streak now to 8 straight games.
We talked about Delman Young, who started the game in left field for the Minnesota Twins, loving to go after that first pitch. Cabrera has had a lot of success this year hitting the first pitch himself.
Line to the shortstop. Punto will throw him out. Tigers get a run back. We've played 8. Liriano and the Twins lead 6-2. Ninth inning. Tigers starters the last 2 days, 18 strikeouts in 13 innings. Liriano really good here tonight with 9 strikeouts, a season high, and the Twins' 7th inning is the difference right now. They scored a 5 spot up there. And so Ryan Perry will go back to the hill to pitch the 9th inning, try and keep it right here. 4-run game. Perry looked nice back in the 8th. Got a fly ball and struck out Kadire. Threw his breaking ball for strikes. Carlos Gomez will lead it off.
Somebody's calling you.
Calling you. They're screaming your name. Okay, now they're screaming my name. That's drilled to left field and hit deep. Gomez is going to hit it over the head of Guillen. He is streaking towards second base. He's thinking about it, but he better get back.
He's a wild stallion, isn't he?
He just goes all out.
I like watching him play. I don't like to see him beat up on my guys, but he's got a lot of energy. He's got a lot of energy. And he's got a lot of talent, too.
So the leadoff double in his first at bat after taking over defensively gives the Twins a chance to score another run here.
That thing got off the gate in a hurry.
Here's Nick Punto. That is 10 hits now for Minnesota in this game. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Punto tonight reaching out a fielder's choice in scoring. He also struck out twice against the starter Edwin Jackson, who finished the night with a 7 strikeout performance. 2 balls and 1 strike. That slap foul back out of play. Haven't gotten any word on Jerry White, their first base coach, who was taken out of the game, was hit by a line drive off of his foot last half inning.
We do know this much. He was in a lot of pain. I'm sure they will x-ray it and get some ice on it to make sure that they keep any swelling down if it did swell up.
Of course, the tragic death of Mike Coolbaugh a couple of years ago changed some rules, and now the coaches have to wear helmets at first and third base. 3-2 on Punto. Tigers tonight have only 4 hits. There's Scott Alger in the third base coaching box. Vavra took over at first base for White.
And Liriano was lights out today.
High towering fly ball center field. Gomez going to tag up. Grandy measures it. Gomez heading to third. The throw is late.
He outruns the baseball. Not many guys that can tag up on Granderson from right there. But that young man has got speed to burn. He gets back. Granderson does everything right. But this guy's just got the kind of speed where you're running full speed after your first step.
1 out, runner at third. Denard Span, the top of the order. Breaking ball inside. 1-0 on Span. Porcello and Blackburn tomorrow, and then it's on to Chicago. Tigers have their next road trip coming up. This homestand is flown by. Inside with a fastball that time. 2-0.
We got 2 here against the Twins and then 2 in Chicago.
Yeah. We'll move on to Cleveland for the weekend. Mother's Day weekend. Then on to Minnesota. Take on these Twins. Infield in for the Tigers. And that's low. 3-0. Gomez began the inning with a double. He's standing at third now. He's taking 3-1. Alexi Casilla waiting on deck. Right back up the middle. There's an RBI hit for Denard Span.
You've got to give the Twins some credit. They've got a bunch of guys that just really don't overswing. Of course, they've got the big guy in the middle, the number 4 hitter, Morneau, who hits with a lot of power. But everybody else, for the most part, contact guys just trying to put the ball in play. And that works well against a power pitcher like Ryan Perry.
And that, by the way, is a 4-hit game for Denard Span.
A quiet 4-hit game.
There's Casilla. 11 hits now for Minnesota. Here's the 0-1 pitch. 0-2. Looking ahead to the Tigers' bottom of the ninth, Guillen, Laird, and Inge will be due up. And Brandon may be having his last chance to extend his on-base streak. Bouncing ball hit to the right side. Cabrera has it. There's one. Relay. Not in time. Casilla beats out the return throw. It'll be tough to double him up.
Yes.
Especially on that play. 2 gone.
And Nice firm throw there by Cabrera. And one of the things that they talked to Cabrera about, this was last year, and I'm sure they've brought it up again, is on that particular play, there are so many first basemen that are throwing and then trying to get back to the bag at the same time because they want to be the return on the throwback from the shortstop. But what Leland and Rafael Belliard and also Gene Lamont have encouraged Cabrera to do on that play, as he did, you fire the ball to the shortstop, make sure you make a good throw, and don't worry about who's going to cover the bag. Somebody will be there. You don't worry about trying to get back there yourself.
Well, he just continues to make a lot of improvements at first base, and before every game he's out there working hard. They are going to get Mauer, and he's going to be 0 for 5 tonight.
Wow.
But another run in. Guillen, Laird, Inge coming up. Last call for the Tigers here as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. It is 7-2 in favor of the Twins in game 1 in this short 2-game series. And the Tigers down to their final swings here. They'll have Carlos Guillen, Gerald Laird, and Brandon Inge. Carlos tonight 1 for 3, had a single in his first at bat, and Greer delivers strike 1. And now it's 0-2 on Guillen. Carlos right now hitting .202. He was hitless in that series against Cleveland. In fact, he snapped an 0 for 12 with a base hit in his first at bat, and Greer just missed 1 ball 2 strikes.
Well, he continues to work, that's for sure. Out taking some extra batting practice this afternoon with several other Tiger players.
Swing and a miss. Down he goes. That's a strikeout for Greer. 1 gone.
Twins pitching outstanding tonight, and it starts with the starter. And Liriano was lights out.
Now Gerald Laird. Ten strikeouts tonight for Minnesota pitching. 9 of them by the starter Liriano.
Edwin Jackson was awfully good as well. Obviously he ran into some trouble there in the 7th inning, but no margin for error. That's the way he's been pitching all year long. No margin for error.
Not only tonight, but all season. Laird is out of there. 2 gone on the fly to right.
Get him some runs, and he appears the kind of guy that will shut the opposition down.
So here is Inge, perhaps his last chance here now to extend that 24 consecutive games of reaching base to 25 to start the year. And Tigers pitching has had 10 strikeout as well tonight.
Majority of them by Jackson.
Grounded foul, and now the count is 0-2.
That's a lot of strikeouts by Tigers pitchers the last couple of days. Didn't Verlander rack up 11 of them?
That is a lot of strikeouts. Yeah, he did. Here's the 0-2 pitch. So Ron Gardenhire now is 1 out away from getting his team back up to 500. In a closely contested Central Division. Swing and a miss. Inge is down, and that is that for the Tigers. They go 1-2-3 in the 9th inning, and Minnesota wins the opening game of this series 7-2. Right now, let's check in with Mickey York, who has a preview of tonight's Tigers Live. Mick?
All right, Mario, thank you very much. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, we'll bring you all of tonight's highlights. We'll also take you to Jim Leland's post-game press conference.